The final frontier has not even been chartered yet, and that frontier is within you. Our mind, our brain, our thinking, and only 3 little pounds or 3.5 pounds of gray and white matter is the weight of this brain. What a marvelous way that we have to think through and solve any problems that we need to solve. But why are we scattered? The human brain can store more information than all the libraries in the world. And everything we know of the universe, everything we know from subatomic particles to distant galaxies, everything we feel from love for our children to fear of enemy nations is experienced and modeled in our brains.
The most important thing that we can build is ourselves and our mind. We can build all this different stuff, but at the end of the day, it is the human being that must be built. Because if the human being isn't developed and built, then you're going to mess up the restaurant, you're going to mess up the business, you're going to mess up those particular things. So if it's as a man thinketh, so is he, and it is a human being behind the money. It's a human being behind the register. It's a human being behind the customer service. So at the end of the day, we are the greatest asset and the best asset that needs to be built up.
I was thinking upon something you just said, Brother Ben. I noticed that when I wasn't going within, I began to use everything I learned in the teachings. I was just using that as a mask to overcompensate for my past wounds, all my scars, all my irrational fears, and all my pain and trauma that I went through. And so when I began to go within and do the exorcism and find those hidden demons that was locked up in myself and explore the rubbish from being sexually molested, being sexually abused, and I was told that I wasn't supposed to cry. Men ain't supposed to cry. So I became disassociated from the later traumas. I was playing this role like growing up, just I gotta be hard, I gotta be tough. So I didn't even feel it. So what I ended up doing through the law of attraction, we tend to attract people and circumstances in harmony with our most dominant thoughts and emotions. So I just began to attract more people that was in harmony with my wounds. So every city I would go to, it would just attract more triggers. And I was thinking it was other people, but it was something that was hidden inside myself. So being able to take this journey on this last frontier to go within, man, that's like going into that dark cave. One wise man says, the cave that you fear to enter holds the treasure that you seek. Every cave that I was afraid to go into always held the treasure that I was seeking for.
Thought and trauma is so connected that anytime a traumatic event occurs in your life, it damages the mind. And if you don't have repair from that trauma, then that trauma becomes a lasting characteristic that now becomes a part of the makeup of a human being. I wasn't conscious of the damage that I had. I'm not still fully conscious of the damage that I had. And I think Dianetics, the reason why the minister introduced that is so that we all can become conscious of the damage that we have, so that we can now go through that healing process to be able to operate within ourselves.
The average thought, we are taught in the Supreme Wisdom lessons, travels at 24 billion miles per second. So why are we given those dimensions and those measurements? It is because we too had to go back in our thinking, because we can remember everything that has ever happened in our lives. But as we grow older, what happens is the rust starts accumulating on the rusty locks, they call it, of our brain cells. So we can't think past the last minute. So as long as we can think, we can be redeemed. But if you're out of your mind, it'll be very hard to redeem you, Because the majority or the most important part of the redemption of you is yourself. As a man thinketh, so is he.
Imagine if we didn't have these jobs. Imagine if we didn't have the duties of this world where we could just focus on our brain, just focus on our mind, just get our mind clear and really be able to tap in. How powerful could we really be?